Well, Broncos country, we got death, taxes, and the Broncos whooping up on the Cowboys. Those are the three things that have been guaranteed, at least in my life, man. The Broncos dominate the Dallas Cowboys today, 44-24, in what I would say is easily the most complete performance that this team has had. The offense was cooking, and it was highlighted by the rookie class. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
joined today by Jeremy. Man, what a game, bro. What a game. Give us your initial thoughts on this dominant performance today.
Yeah, I honestly felt like I was real nervous coming into this game, and I felt like this was going to go one, two ways. You got the Nick Wrights of the world saying we're frauds, saying we haven't beaten anybody, we haven't done anything on offense, blah 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 blah. And now Dallas is coming in; they have the number one offense, and it was like you got an offense that had been struggling versus a defense that had been struggling, and an offense that had been killing it versus a defense that had been killing it. So it's like, what was going to happen? It was
Yep.
like, this big matchup. And we I think they figured out some things. Good on Sean Payton, first of all. I think they said teams were 2-15 after big comeback wins, just because the people typically just like let up a little bit. They kind of exhale. And the way that the guys acted on Wednesday, they were just like, no, we're not subscribing to that. So they came in, they were focused. I felt like that even with us scoring 44 points, I still felt like we left some stuff out there. Cortland Sutton let the touchdown for sure, but man, just a complete effort. And you got to feel so much better about like the last month now. People were giving Sean Payton a hard time about starting 2-2 in the first quarter of the season. Well, second quarter, he went 4-0, and he
That's
did
what he
it
does.
against the Eagles. He did it on the road in London. He did it against the Cowboys. I mean, he well played, well done. And yeah, it was just I don't know what happened with that first pick, but after that, it was just they locked in, and I
They
loved it.
locked in, man. No, it was impressive. It was a unbelievable game to watch. And I had this wrong, so let me fix this real quick. But Bo Nix just a dominant performance, man. 19 of 29, 247, four touchdowns with one interception. We talked about it on that first drive. And I was nervous about this game too, man, originally, because I did have I picked the Broncos to lose this game because I
Yeah.
just didn't feel like the offense was consistent enough to be able to keep up with the amount of scoring that I thought was going to happen. But I'm glad I was wrong because this offense absolutely put it all together. They were in rhythm. And the Cowboys defense is horrible. I mean, let's not get that twisted. We
Bad,
have a huge
bad.
matchup next week, and a really big test for this offense. But it's nice to see us put it together, man. Balanced, 28 rushing attempts, 29 passing attempts. It's perfect. 180
Yep.
yards rushing, 247 yards passing. But man, you talk about the just the way that all of a sudden this week Sean Payton's a good play caller, right? Because things are actually starting to work because
Mm-hmm.
we're actually not having terrible penalties offensively. We had some penalties on the defense, but the offense was really clean in terms of their drive killing penalties. And I mean, we just looked good, and it was the rookie show. That's what I really loved about today's game is the
Mm-hmm.
rookie class. They all came out to play, man. RJ Harvey with 3 touchdowns,
Yep.
insane. 2 rushing, 1 catching. Um, Pat Bryant had a beautiful touchdown,
Beautiful.
and Jade Barron with a pick. It don't get
Mm-hmm.
much better than that, man. All we need, I mean, I think Crawshaw's already gotten his flowers, so that's a good rookie pick. All we needed was, Savion and Q Robinson, who were both inactive for this game, but we just needed them to be able to light it up. But otherwise, just a complete performance. I don't know what it is about Dak Prescott coming to Denver or playing the Broncos in general, but he struggles, man. I mean, he had no interceptions in like the last 4 or 5 games, had 2 of them today. Um, it was impressive, man. It was really, really impressive.
Well, he had a legendary missed flight,
Mm-hmm.
when he was going to meet John Elway. So he's always been a little late coming to Denver, just a little behind, and
Yep.
it's continuing. So I don't know what it is either, but I appreciate it because every time they start gassing up the Dallas Cowboys, like they seem to run into us, and then that's like, never mind.
Never mind. They're
And the
frauds.
Cowboys fans, I mean, look, if you're like from Dallas, if you're like a lifetime Cowboys fan, fine. But it's just there's no more satisfying teams beating like the Lakers, the Yankees, the Cowboys, all the front runner, like basic team, like people. Like, I just can't, I just love when we stomp those types of
Yeah.
teams. And yeah, I don't know. We got his number for some reason. And Sean Payton, I think he's one of those people that, he worked for the Cowboys organization, like he worked for the Giants organization. He likes to show out in front of former bosses and been like,
Yeah.
I think he takes that personal.
Yeah, no, he does, man. And these jerseys, I'll tell you, not only they look beautiful, but going 3-0 in them so far, it's a wonderful thing. But it was just, man, it was so nice. It was so nice to see the team just kind of play as if they didn't have a historic comeback at all last week.
Yeah.
They remained focused. It seemed like anything they wanted to do offensively, it was working. Guys were blocking super well down the field. Everyone was getting open. Troy Franklin was balling. I started him on fantasy today. I just felt like he was going to blow up. Six catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Again, Sutton had a big game, bad drop, but I'll forgive him.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram was big in big moments. I thought he was blocking really well.
I love
just
that
an unbelievable game. I mean, unbelievable. The offensive line was dominating. They did everything they were supposed to. Were you surprised at all by the way the defense played? In stretches.
I was surprised. I was nervous after like PS2 gets hurt and then comes right back. I love the way Riley played. Half of those pass interference, I honestly think the refs are racist against white corners. I honestly do, because it's like, if that's Patrick Surtain in the exact same coverage, he's not getting called those. I'm sorry. I mean, one of them was a hold for sure, but like a lot of those ones are just like, what do you want? Like, they're just picking on him because it's like, well, we can't do it the other way. And so when Pat went out, I thought he stepped up and they called everything on him, but I don't care. Like, don't give him anything easy. And hopefully it's not that big of an injury. And it gave Chris Abrams-James some run, McMillan some run, Barron some run. So I think that maybe helps us down the line. But yeah. Shout out to Don here coming in.
Yeah, no. Overall, man, I thought they were so solid. The pass rush was good enough for sure, especially when they sent 4. And I felt like they were stuffing the run. It was nice to see them opportunistic, right? Those 2 interceptions were huge. It's one thing that I felt like was really going to sway this game. So like to see that the turnovers, are kind of starting to come in our favor. We're doing all the things the right way. But, I thought Chris Abrams-Drain played really well. He actually had 9 tackles, which was second on the team.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even realize that.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
And yeah, Riley Moss, man, he was really up to the task. He was juiced today. I thought he played super well. And again, like even on those PI calls, some of them were, I think PI, other ones were terrible, but the guy's always in coverage and he frustrates the receiver. So I'm just waiting, man. I can't wait for the day where Riley makes a team pay big time for going after him, because they're going to keep doing it. And so just kudos to the whole team. I even thought Alex Singleton played super good today. I mean, I really don't feel like anyone on the defense played poorly at all.
No, I mean, I felt like they were gifted that. Not the very last touchdown they just got, but like the one that got them to 17. Those calls were just like, okay, you just are trying to make this close.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, I can't complain. I was you know what the comeback did is it gave all Broncos fans like the fear of God in them of like, oh God, we're only up 20, like we're only up 13. They could come back. So like, I felt like it was more on us as fans to be like watching the clock, watching how much time, how many are we up? I think we are afraid of like giving up what they did. And we have to understand that was an unbelievable, legendary comeback. Those things do not typically happen.
Yeah.
And if you want to see the body language of 2 different teams, the body language of the Denver Broncos down 19 going into the 4th quarter, and then the body language of the Cowboys down 13 was like night and day. The Cowboys defense was like, we lost
Big time.
And the Broncos, the whole team was like, we still got a shot,
Yeah, it was just nice because I mean, I wasn't really worried in the 4th quarter that we were going to lose, but I thought it was going to be one of those like, are they going to make it annoyingly close?
Yeah.
And it was a great job by the Broncos offense to just keep their foot on the gas and close the game out, right?
Yep.
everything that we've talked about that have been issues with this team that have been creeping up, I felt like they cleaned up really well for this game. So you want to see them stack it, but it was nice to see them put the nail in the coffin, man, with the with that long drive that ends up with the a touchdown there, and then they did it again with the RJ Harvey play. So it was just it was a wonderful thing to see, no
And
doubt
you
about that.
and both of those interceptions were like any chance that they had to kind of gain the momentum, they like nope, snuffed out. Cause like at the end of the half, they're gonna get that field goal, which is gonna give them a little momentum. And what's his name picks it off?
Johnny
Um,
Byrne.
yeah, Barron picks that off. That was a sweet play from him. Great to see him show up. And then DeAndre Tillman's pick. I mean, he's a madman. Like, I'm yelling at my CV, just go down, just go down. Just it doesn't matter, just go down.
He
Don't
was
get
juking. He
do
wanted
not
it.
fumble. And he wanted
Yeah.
it hard. And
Yeah,
but I
he
just
did.
loved. And then it looked like that guy was going to come over from behind him and try to knock it out, and he didn't fumble. And I was just like, man, what a big play that was. Because if they
Huge.
score there, like they could start to get the momentum
Yeah.
too.
No, I mean they would have brought him back within 13 at that point, with quite a bit of time left in the fourth. So it was huge, dude. What a call by Vance Joseph. I mean, he just completely confused Dak Prescott. Dak had no idea.
Yeah.
He thought they were blitzing. He ends up dropping DeAndre Tillman back, and man, it was awesome. It's funny because he was at 92, and he was huffing and puffing. All my friends were like, "Man, that guy, how much does he weigh? Like 300 pounds. He was moving." I'm like, "Nah, man, he's an edge rusher. He's like 240, but he looks like a big boy."
He's just so wide. Like he's like
he is.
he's like a weird shape. So as like
Yeah.
a offensive or as a pass rusher, but
But
no.
what a revelation. Even in a game where I think Nick Bonito is a little bit more quiet. That's 2 games in a row now. He's kind of been quiet a little bit, but we're so deep. Everybody just keeps on balling. So
Yep.
you gotta love all that.
You saw Nick, he was like trying to get back into that game, and Sean was like, "Bro, we're up
Yeah.
20. Like,
Yeah,
do not
you're
do
good.
something dumb and get hurt. Like, I'm sorry. You are
Absolutely.
gonna have plenty of time for sacks. Just
Yep.
let's just not. If you get hurt trying to like get stats, like the stat pad, like you deserve what you get because it's
Yep.
just like you just don't need it. You don't
No
play for
doubt.
something to win. So we already did that. So no, it was awesome, and it was a good opportunity to get some run. I mean, Jared Stidham making an appearance, like that's how good it goes. So
You gotta
you
love
gotta
it.
love it.
Yep, you gotta love that. No doubt about it, man. And this team now has scored 77 points in the last 5 quarters. So you can argue over the last 5 quarters they're the hottest team in football. But no, obviously, again, man. I mean, when this run game is going and it just opens things up, it's such a nice thing to see. Everything seems to be working. We're running screens and they're getting chunk yards. But really, what got it going for me, like you said, after that early pick from Bo, amazing job by the defense to hold him to a field goal. That kind of made me think, all right, like let's keep it behind us. And then when RJ has that 40-yard touchdown on just a beautifully executed toss, it reminded me a lot of the TD days.
Yes, it did.
And the Shanahan. I was like, all right, now we're up and rolling, and I felt like they were good to go. But Bo Nix was sharp all day, man. He looked great in command. The run game was amazing.
5 TDs. Yep.
He should have, yeah, no doubt about it.
I agree.
That call to, man, that OPI call was annoying. It was so bad. And then he hits Sutton on an absolute dart in the chest, and he should have had 5. You're right.
Yeah,
That'd have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
But,
he should have had 5, and then I love that fact we made them pay when we rolled out and they called offensive pass interference on Cortland again. The one at the end there, and they didn't accept it. They declined it because they were trying to get us 4th down or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we just score anyway. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, just a big FU. No, I love it, man. I thought it was just such a good complete effort. Hopefully Pat Surtain is back, and I don't think it was too serious. I mean, based off what it looked like, I think it was one of those where they kind of held him out, and if they felt like Dallas came back and made it a game, maybe they put him in. But obviously I'm just speculating. Hopefully it's nothing too big.
Well, they said
we'll see.
to start the half, he was questionable, and then later they had ruled him out. But later, it seemed like we were in pretty much control.
Yeah, we were
So
in good.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping. I mean, he was moving it and doing that kind
Exactly.
of a thing. So it
Yeah.
doesn't. And if you had, whatever ankle thing he had going too, if you just were like, hey, he already has this and he already has this, let's just be smart about this. Maybe they're just a little safer with it.
Yeah. No,
But
totally. And again, I mean, the game next week against Houston, like you always want to have PS2, but if there's any games, the next two are ones where you say, okay, if we're not gonna have PS2, those are the two games that we can have them out for, versus Houston next week, and then um, Thursday night versus the Raiders.
mhm,
So two teams where like Houston's defense is amazing. That's why they're going to be a really tough challenge. But offensively, I feel like, without PS2, we might be able to hang there. And then obviously same for the Raiders. So looking at the light at the end of the tunnel, that's
yeah.
probably, it could be worse. But man, oh man. What do you think? So like, does this game kind of relieve all of your like concerns that you had about this offense? Or is it one of those where you feel like you still need to see more? You need to see him stack some games a little bit.
I mean, I didn't have major concerns. I felt like the team knew that we were one play away from this thing to start to go. And the problem that I have is they have a lack of focus sometimes.
Mhm.
And that's shown up with penalties and drops. And that continued today. So it's like, I don't think they're going to like celebrate themselves too much. That defense was bad. Like,
Bad,
let's not get
really
it
bad.
twisted. It
Yeah.
wasn't exactly like we just were unbelievable. Now there was a couple plays that were unbelievable. That Pat Bryant throw and catch in the corner was unbelievable. And Cortland made it a nice catch down, to move the chains and all that. But running the ball was very easy today. And yeah, it's just kind of like what the doctor ordered for this defense or for this offense, just to like feel good about themselves,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's like if you get dumped and then all of a sudden like you go to like a bar reluctantly and then all these girls are checking you out, you're like, oh, okay, I'm all right.
Yeah,
Like
like I'm
it
good.
felt like I needed that. Like I don't thank you, but I don't need,
Yeah,
and that's what Dallas was for us today. It was like we had been struggling, but you know what? Putting up 33, I mean, I know everybody's like the Giants defense collapsed. It was like not exactly like we made all those plays. We took that game. I'm sorry. I know it's New York and they want to, anytime it's like some East Coast big team, they want to just be like, what's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles? What's wrong with the Giants?
yeah,
Instead of giving us credit. But it's like we took that game and then you got gifted a touchdown and then we still took that game. And then
yeah.
so to
And then
carry
they got
that
gifted another
forward.
touchdown. They got gifted two touchdowns.
Yes.
Like that, it honestly could have turned into almost borderline blowout if it doesn't land in Theo Johnson's hands and all that crazy stuff. And the
Right.
refs tried to take the game away. I mean, yeah, no, that was the big thing for me that I was always optimistic about. Like, I felt like it was a time of the season where you want to see this offense going, but what I was always really happy about was, man, it's not a lack of talent. Like,
No.
this team's got guys that can make plays. Troy Franklin looks amazing. Pat Bryant, it seems like any opportunity he gets, he's out there making plays. Marvin Mims is such a weapon. Cortland Sutton, obviously. So it's like you have so many weapons. And then JK and RJ, right? RJ Harvey looked great today. So it was like, man, we've got so many guys that can make plays. So it was nice to see it. But just like you said, like the doctor ordered, I don't care how bad a defense is. When your offense scores 44, you had a really good day on offense. But
Mhm.
hell of a test next week going to Houston. Houston's defense is legit.
Yep.
The
I'll
best
tell
in the
you,
NFL.
I'll tell you who my like unsung hero was of this game was Evan Ingram. Every single time we needed to move the chains,
Yep.
there's no one on our team better at catching the ball, getting upfield, and knowing exactly how much he needs. And
Mhm.
that's what I wish all of those guys had. And
Yep.
Evan has that so much to a T where he's just like, okay, what I need 10. Okay, I'm gonna run a 8.5 and then just lunge for it and get it.
Yep.
And there was one where he was running down the sideline and he saw it and then he moved the ball over and got it. It was like that's the kind of focus that if we had that focus with all of the offensive weapons, I honestly think we could be one of the best offenses in the league.
No, 100%. And I mean, even the one down at the goal line that I think led to a rushing touchdown, like He caught the wide receiver screen and just went upfield. Even if he
Yep.
was doing it backwards, he just knew like there's not enough time right now to turn around. It was blocked up really well.
Yep.
He just kind of lunges backwards and gets 5-6 yards, gets down to the 1, and rest is
Yeah.
history. So
Got
yeah, I
hit
thought
at the
I thought he was
5.
great.
Yeah, got hit at the 5 and just was like, I'm gonna get as much as I possibly can, and got all the way to the 1, which they did. Dude, did you notice they kept marking us back a yard like all game? It was driving me up the wall. Like we would get 8 and they would be like, he got 6, or we'd get whatever. I don't know, maybe I was tripping, but that play is like we got to the 1 and then it's like, nope, they put it at the 2, whatever. But yeah, just the way that his mentality is what Rod Smith always used to bring is like, I remember Rod Smith had a story of when he first got on the Broncos and Shannon Sharp told him, your job is to get 11 every single play because that will get you a first down. So just get 11. So his mentality is like, I don't know. I'm not going to settle for 8. I'm going to get 11.
Yep.
And that's how Evan Ingram plays. He's like, I'm going to get 11 every single time.
Yep.
Sorry, my dog wants to say hi.
No, I loved it. I thought he was awesome, man. And it was just, so complete. Like even the whole defense, there's so many guys that stepped up. We talked about Riley. He had 4 PBUs. Brandon Jones was flying around. PS2 looked good when he was healthy. Jonathan Cooper, man, he had a big play. That almost interception that he had on 3rd and 1 was massive at a massive time of the game. Again, just tricking Dak into thinking that something's happening. Because I think that's a catch, and I think it's a first down. And I'm trying to remember when exactly in the game it was, but I remember it was a very crucial time.
Yes.
I think it was, let me see if I got this right. Hold on. Yeah, it was on the one where maybe not. I don't know. They had that, like we caused the fumble too, and they didn't call it.
Yeah. I know, dude.
It's crazy. But it was, I remember it being a really big play at a big time of the game. So
yep, I agree.
It was nice.
It was
nice to see that.
Because even the pass breakup was huge. It didn't even need. I mean, the pick would have been obviously awesome, but the PBU was just enough. Where it's like, oh, we needed that back.
Yeah, it was 20-10.
Yeah,
we had just scored so it was a 14-10 game. The Broncos just scored. We went for 2, which I think was kind of dumb, and it was a 10-point game. And they were, they go down there and they score. It's a 1-possession game, whether it's 3 or 7. But boom, and ended up getting the stop, and then the offense answered. So. Yeah, it was amazing. Even just the complementary nature, right? Defense makes a stop, offense responds. They make the play. So just amazing to see, and excited. Hopefully, this is something that this team can really build off of. But Sean Payton's got something in October, man. He loves it. He loves this month of football, and so hopefully the Broncos can keep it rolling.
Yeah, you know what? He has a tough training camp, and then a lot of people give him a hard time of like, what's up with too many screens? What is it with the play calling? What's up with this? What's up with that? But it's like, once we get to this part of the year, when everybody starts feeling more comfortable with like the way that this team operates, it starts to lock in. And then, even with the Russ years, we went on a run there in the middle of the season that we had absolutely no business even sniffing the playoffs. We started like 1-5, and then all of a sudden we had a winning record. And I was like,
yep.
That is because of the culture change and the mentality. Now, he was very frustrated with his offense and didn't like, his, play call or his quarterback. But now I love the fact I felt good because when Bo threw that first pick and he just looked and he just laughed. If you notice, if you go back and watch the replay, like,
it's funny. I actually didn't even see the pick. I was listening to the game at that point. I missed like the first drive. Yeah.
So Pat Bryant, he runs like a slant, but I think that Bo thought he was going to sit down. And so he threw it, and then Pat kept going, and then it ended up going. I mean, it wasn't even within 5 yards of Pat Bryant, but it was like, and then instead of him being like angry or like, oh no, or whatever, he just laughed. He just was like, is this like, he just smiled and chuckled. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good sign. Cause if you feel
have you noticed that too? He does that. He's been actually doing it quite a bit.
Yeah. And that's a great sign because he's not like, he's not tense. Like if you're on the edge and then you make a mistake like that, you're like, oh no, like, oh crap. But now when he makes a mistake, he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. All right, we'll be fine. Yep. And then he is. And I mean, he
No,
went out and balled out after that.
yeah, it's a great point, and I think Sean mentioned it once, like in a it might have been a post game where he was like, we always tell Bo like just stick with it, keep smiling, keep. So I feel like it's something that might be coached from him of like just don't ever get down on yourself. But that's good to hear. Like I said, I didn't see it,
Yeah.
so it's nice to know. But yeah, I mean, it helps because not only did he respond, he responded in a huge way, man. I mean, 4 touchdowns, like you said, could have been 5. He was accurate. He was throwing dimes all over the place. The throw to Sutton that he dropped in the end zone was a dart.
Yeah.
The touchdown to Pat Bryant was perfection. I mean,
Yeah.
he looked phenomenal. He was in rhythm, and man, when he just slows down a tick, he's lethal. He's
Yeah.
lethal, and I just feel like it's been progressively getting better in that regard.
And I thought what I like the most about his play today that he's been struggling with all season is just sitting in the pocket, not kind of like wanting to bounce, getting like kind of antsy. He just was like, "Oh, I'm good. They'll block for me." The second touchdown, the one that was to Franklin, he just sat in the pocket, was like waiting for it. Oh, there it is, and then he kind of threw it over the defender and dropped it right down. And when he threw it, it almost looked like one of those throws where somebody's getting a lot of pressure and they just kind of throw it up. And then when I saw what it was, I was like, oh, he was not doing, I mean, he was comfortable and he just was like waiting for it to open, and he did, and he found him. It was perfect. And I was like, oh, that's exactly the Bo we need right there.
Yeah. And what I liked is he had a little pump fake. I don't know if it was a pump fake or like he was about to throw it. He saw the read was off, went to second read, boom, easy touchdown. But regardless, it was beautiful to see. I think on the Pat Bryant one where he drops it in a bucket, he took a shot, if I remember. Yeah. And it was an absolute, perfect. Absolute perfect throw.
And I don't know if he noticed this, but like they had jumped off sides and then tried to get back on, and then they snapped it. So it was a free play. So I'm watching and I'm like, oh, take a shot, because that's what, Elway, all these guys used to do is like, they'd get you on the hard count and then like get you to lean forward or step forward, and then you take a shot, and then you got 5 no matter what. And I don't know if he knew that, but he did have a free play and just put it right on the money. Like everybody's been talking about the Bover throws and da. He had one, I think, today. But man, that one was perfection. Yep. And Pat Bryant that was soft hands, 2 feet down. I think he got 4 feet down or 3 feet down or whatever. And then that last Troy Franklin touchdown was just a masterful job by Troy Franklin. He absolutely just shook the corner. He was like, and then he swung back around and the guy tried to hold him and it was like, no. And Bo just found him. And then he just, it was perfect. I love the fact that our young guys are getting playing time, but also getting the confidence against these teams. I mean, Troy Franklin getting 2 touchdowns, or he had 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Pat Bryant, Harvey had touchdown, like just killing it. Just beautiful day.
Yeah. They're just putting the highlights on Football Night in America on that exact play. I mean, Franklin shook him out of his shoes.
Oh,
can you believe, man, we held the Denver Broncos held Jake Ferguson, the hottest tight end, to 0 catches, 0 yards.
That's the last thing you thought
target
on our defense would have happened too.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and he didn't even get hurt. He played the whole game.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I mean, just one of those games where it's like you take a deep breath. It's like it's not really overly. It's kind of relaxing in comparison, at least last week or a lot of other games. But it's just so good to see, man. Guys having a good time, and going to 6-2 is huge. Every single win is so massively important, and I think this was a really good step to getting into the November, December football when you really need to start hitting your stride. This was a really good first step. So I thought they played awesome. Today.
This is one of those games where like it's the first time in a long time where there's no but. Like
exactly.
Philadelphia, it's like, they won, but they had to do some miraculous thing in the fourth quarter to do it.
Exactly.
And did Philly choke? And then it was like in London against the Jets. Yeah, you won, but that was way closer than it should have been. And Jets suck and yada, yada, yada. And then last week, the Giants, you should have lost, but no credit. Like, you scored 33 points. It was a miraculous thing.
With the Cincy win.
And this was just like, okay. Most people picked the Cowboys today. and I understand why. I'm not like that wasn't a dumb thing to do, I don't think, but like the defense took it personally and said, "All right, we're gonna lock it down." If you would have said, "Hey, Patrick Surtain's not gonna play the second half, and right, it's gonna be Riley and Abrams Drain and McMillan and the defense," and guess what's gonna happen? Dak Prescott's gonna throw for under 200 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and you're gonna win by 20 or whatever. Like you would be like, "No way that would happen. No
Yeah,
way."
no way.
So,
No way. Yeah, I
credit
know.
to Vance.
Oh, big time, man, dude. I think Vance Joseph is cooking, dude. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's cooking, man. I loved the game plan today. I felt like, they just had a really really good plan, kind of stuck with it. I can't wait to watch a lot of parts of the All 22 because I'm curious. Every time I remember watching, I felt like Jade Barron was on Jake Ferguson. It could have been
Mm.
only on specific times where I was really paying attention, but I'm curious of like, okay, how much of the fact that he got 0 catches was it because of Jade Barron? It seemed like he played more of this game than he normally does.
Yeah.
Obviously with PS2 going out too, but man, he looked good on that interception. It was like it was blanketed, just blanket coverage.
Yeah.
And you love to see it, and it just shows how incredibly deep this team is too.
Yeah.
Um, but
Harvey, look,
guys are
Harvey
making
had been
plays, man.
having good games this year. I mean, he scored touchdowns last week. He's been, he hadn't been running a bunch, but like he's been contributing in the pass game a lot.
Yep.
So you would be like, okay, I get it. But I do feel like this was the week that, we play Cam Scattaboo and you're like, oh man, he's having this major impact. He's turning that team around along with Jackson Dart, right? I wish I could say that Harvey has had the biggest impact, as big of impact as Scattaboo has had. Or, you could see the way that what's the name was running for the Chargers before he got hurt
No
as a
more. Yep.
rookie. Marion Hampton. And this was the game when he broke that and he took it to the house. I was like, that was the one where he had that one big break earlier, but he didn't score on it. So this one had to feel so good. And
Yeah.
then for
It.
people like Kodiak and people who have been like, which I get it, I agree with him. You draft somebody in the first round and you feel like, I can't believe this guy was there. It was a steal. He fell to us at 20, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Emeka Buku, who I think we actually wanted to take, gets sniped from you at 19, and he's been destroying and all this stuff. So part of you is like, I like Barron, but oh man, we could have had Mbuka, we could have this, we could
Yeah.
have
Of course.
that. And
Naturally.
then now to see a play like that stops momentum and to blanket Ferguson, like you're saying, and that's the weapon that I think everybody going into this game was like, we have to watch him because we typically are not great against tight ends, and he's the best tight end so far this year.
Yep.
Is so big. And then Pat Bryant, to be able to, we know what he's been doing in the passing game as far as blocking, but like he had some big plays along with that amazing
Massive.
touchdown. So it was this was a humongous game. It was in the throwbacks. It has the whole, Denver's like coming off this huge win, everything for the young guys to step up. And then Troy Franklin, who's a rookie plus, he hasn't played
Yep.
that much. It was just so great. Like so great to see these young guys just showing out.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, man. I'm so happy for Troy. Like I literally just got goosebumps when I was thinking about it because he just looks so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like in everything.
Confident.
Like I mean, his physicality. Like he's taking shots and he's bouncing up, and he's had some tough drops on the sideline in back-to-back games where he would hit and not be able to hold it through contact. But
Right.
he doesn't even waver, man. Like he just continues to make plays when he gets the opportunity, creates crazy separation. I thought he was awesome today, man. He
And
looked
he had taken a
fantastic.
little bit of heat last week from just the blocking aspect and his unwillingness, it seemed like sometimes to block. It seemed like some of those screen passes, everybody was getting so sick of it. Was like, well, maybe it wasn't a bad call, but like when the guy's not blocking, we never
Exactly.
would have known.
Yeah.
I think that really this week he took that personally. He played really tough. Yeah, he did have that one that got knocked out. I think he was so worried about his feet. He even looked down. You could tell when he caught it, he was like looking down to make sure his feet were in. And then he kind of, as he was putting it away, just wasn't thinking the guy was going to come from behind, which you're second year player. You're going to learn those things, but I'm not who's going to complain about a day like that. Like
No.
just
No.
cooking people and
Yeah.
playing really hard. And he's littler than me. So like,
No, yeah, he's
you
he's
know,
he's slightly built. I mean, he's a tall dude, but he's slightly built.
yeah.
And man, they've been putting so much on his plate too, and he's just gotten better at everything. He plays in the slot. He'll play outside. He'll catch screens and do end arounds. Like, he's trying to become a better blocker. So it's like there's so many different things they're asking of him. It's not like he's getting one role, and I feel like he's doing so good across the board with all of it. So
Yep.
one injury, no, I think Nate Atkins had went out of the game, which is
He,
unfortunate. I don't know what it was for, but hopefully he's good because he's kind of one of those guys that just like does a lot of the dirty work,
yeah,
and
he
we're
had
obviously
that.
really thin at.
He had that one
Go
that
ahead.
should have been. I thought might have been a touchdown catch, and then he couldn't hold on, and then they ended up calling some lame penalty on us. But
Yeah,
I
it was
know
a
he
knee
got pretty
injury.
stretched out on that one, so maybe it had to do with that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But Ronnie, good
yeah,
to see you.
potentially. They were saying it's a knee injury. I don't know. I don't know if Sean talked anything about the injuries. I doubt he did in the post game. But man, in general, just an amazing game. Like one of those where it's just so funny how the Broncos have the Cowboys number. It's a great team to have the number for. So amazing to see us play the way that we did. And I guess looking ahead, man, we can last
Yeah.
few minutes we can look ahead to like to Houston. What are your initial impressions about that game, and what would you like to see?
Yeah. Before I say that, just thanks, Ronnie, for coming in to chat. Yes, we definitely
Oh yeah.
think it was a complete game, dude. That was all three phases played well today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have told me that, you're like I said, you're gonna lose Patrick Surtain for the full second half, and you're still gonna give up 0 touchdowns to Dak and 2 picks. Like, what else can you ask for?
Yeah.
Yeah, Houston's gonna be interesting. Now you gotta like I remember that first year with Sean, he basically said, it's one thing to like change your culture of like losing to be a winner, but then you also have to learn how to deal with success. And the AFC West is like, man,
Loaded.
they're nipping at your heels no matter what you do. So that you can't like, there's no time for exile right here. So you're going on the road. You had 4 wins, in October or whatever in the second quarter of this season, but that's 5 in a row. You're seemingly, see that's where you got to watch yourself, Ronnie.
Yeah, exactly.
I said this
Exactly.
the other time. You cannot count your chickens before they hatch, dude. It is one game at a time. I
Yeah.
know you start to look at it goes like, oh, well, we could beat them. We could beat them. There's always a game that you end up thinking, oh, we got this. And then you come out and struggle. And then there's always a game where you're like, oh, that's a loss before the season starts and you win. So yeah,
Totally.
you got to guard yourself against any of that kind of a thing. This team is very young still. They're going to have to learn how to deal with success. Those injuries are going to be huge. What happens with Sertan, what happens with Atkins, whatever. It was nice to see Jonah Ellis back out there. That was good.
Yep. Big time.
And now we get Dre Greenlaw back, unless he, complained about the officiating at halftime in the locker room, and they.
Which I was actually wondering. I don't think he's even allowed at the game, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they
Yeah.
like you from like whatever, but that's somewhere. Brad Allen is unhappy today that he didn't get to change the outcome of this football game.
Yeah. No shit, man.
So stupid. Like I'm sorry, but yeah, no. I honestly going into Houston, you're just gonna have to keep this up. Like if you think that you've arrived as an offense, as bad as we had played, and then now these 5 quarters have been unbelievable. Now you're gonna get put back to reality of like what it's like to go against a good defense. So there's no, patting yourself on the back at all. It is like, okay, good. We took care of business. And what happens when we take care of business? If this team is focused, they can beat anybody. We know that. We marched into Philly. We won. We've won 5 games in a row. We should have beat the Chargers. We're freaking leverage play away, bad call away from beating the Colts, who look unbelievable now. That loss looks even better. So I think you should be super confident, but don't get carried away where you're just starting to be like, oh yeah, we got this.
No doubt. No doubt. And that's where I think Sean Payton has been so masterful with kind of keeping the team in check, right? Like even this week, I'm sure he'll make it so that the team's not looking ahead to the Thursday night game at home against the Raiders. Like this is going to be a massively big challenge. But you talk about a completely opposite team of the Cowboys, right? Cowboys had the number one offense, terrible defense. Houston, number one defense, really in all metrics,
Is that
points,
right?
yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're allowing 14 yards a game, 14 points a game. Least amount of yards. Broncos defense is second. They completely shut down the Niners today. Like their defense is legit, but their offense definitely struggles, specifically their O-line. So it's going to be like one of those defensive battle, old school kind of games. And I'm not a big fan of the 11 a.m.s, but again, I think it's such a good, it's so nice that we have the ability now to see this team perform and see what they can do back-to-back weeks against opposite opponents, right?
Yes.
We have to have a completely different game plan, completely different expectations and guys on the field. So, we'll see how they end up cooking, man. But
it's a good, like you said, it's a good test to have to go against. The offense is going to have a big day. The defense really needs to step up. And then now it's like, you got tested in a totally different way. And if you can pass both of those tests, that's a great sign. I mean, it's a great sign to win 5 games in a row, regardless in the NFL. But yeah, no, back-to-back complete opposite games is like, that's why Sean Payton gets paid. He gets paid because you have to keep, he's from the mentality of never get too high and never get too low. But like, if your team is looking really good, then you're going to have a really rough week of practice. And if your team is like struggling, then it's like, we got to build these guys up. And so tomorrow they're going to be pointing out every flaw, every little mistake. And they left a lot of stuff out on the field today. So like there is things to criticize for sure.
I kind of want them to score 50. I'm not going to lie, but
oh yeah, definitely.
That would have been cool. Put a 50 burger up, but yeah, man, like you said, not much that you can complain about. I think we'll kind of wrap it up here, getting on the 45-minute mark. But guys, make sure, appreciate all you guys in the chat. Make sure you catch me and Jeremy tomorrow live on Horsepower Hour. It's going to be it's always a really, really fun one after a win, man. It's going to be 5 in a row. This is a more traditional win in a more traditional type of game. So be sure to catch us on that. But Jeremy, any final thoughts for the viewers before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I always like to try to have a big picture outlook on these type of things. And, last year was an amazing year. We got a new quarterback. We got our guy. We got the full 4 pillars of our team. You have ownership, you have general manager, you have coach, and now you have quarterback. So we won 5 in a row. Everything's looking good. Let's be thankful right now. And really be in perspective of like what we've dealt with the last 10 years to like where we're at right now. Like we're leading the AFC West and we have as good a record as anybody except for the Colts. And like, it's important to like understand and really appreciate the wins while you're having them. Cause sometimes you almost get so tunnel vision of like, okay, what's next? And it's a great time to be a Broncos fan. It's a very exciting time. And yeah, I'm just happy and thankful.
Yeah, well said, man. Well said. Enjoy every win while we get the opportunity to, man, and let's keep cooking this thing because we're in a really unique part right now as a franchise. We have the best owners in sports. We have an elite head coach. We got our franchise quarterback, even though there's still people out there questioning that, which is hilarious. We got a lot of good things rolling for us, man. So we appreciate it as they can, but always grateful for everybody that tunes in to the live streams and comments on the videos. So be sure to do that. And
yes.
Yeah, we'll catch y'all next week, man.
Yeah. And we'll see you tomorrow, Horsepower, 8:00.
Yes, sir. Peace.
You too, Ronnie.